Hey everyone, today I thought I'd try something a little different. So I'm working on a video right now, one around stakeholder management, and I need to create an animation for this video. And I'm going to use Adobe After Effects to create the animation, and then I'll move it over to Premiere Pro. But I just thought I would let you watch as I put this animation together, and I'll kind of talk through how it works and so forth. It's going to be a very simple animation, but maybe we can cover a few things that you don't know or you don't know about, or who knows, right? So let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to come on over here. Oh, I can get smaller than that. Let's get out of the way. All right, so I'm in here in, what am I in? I'm in Adobe After Effects. So I'm going to go ahead and do a new comp here. And I'm going to call this RASCI because that is what this animation is all about. It's the RASCI model for stakeholder management. Okay, I'm at 1080 at 24 frame rate, 1920 by 1080. That's exactly what I want, so no problem here. This current animation is set to go for 10 seconds. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and set it for 5 minutes for now. Don't worry, you're not going to be watching the whole 5 minutes. I just want to give myself space because frankly, I don't know how long the animation is going to be, but I know what I want to set up to start with. So I'll go ahead and hit OK. All right, so here's my blank comp. Now I have some graphics I want to pull over. I have them open here in a folder, right? So I'm going to first come over here and pull over what is basically my background. So I'm pulling over, as you can see, a Photoshop file. And it's saying, well, what do you want to do with all the layers? Because I have multiple layers. Well, since I'm pulling it over, I just want you to merge all the layers. I am not going to edit the layers individually in this particular comp. So I'm just going to merge them all together in all the footage, right? Create footage. And it basically just brings over the picture. And so now I'm going to put it there. And that's just I call it my, what do I call it? My blotter, right? It's just basically the background that I'm going to use for the animation. And this graphic is going to be there for the entire animation. So I'm just going to leave that alone as is. All right, so now what I want to do is I have some characters I want to pull over. So I'm just going to go ahead and select all of these and drag them over and bring them right up here. The RASCI model stands for responsible, accountable, so on and so forth. So that's the order that I'm going to have these characters, these people show up in. So I'm going to start with responsible because that's the R in RASCI. Bring that on over. Right away, we see that's a little large, right? That's larger than I want. Now, there's a couple of ways I can resize this. Since I have responsible highlighted, I could just hit S, which brings up scale, and I can go ahead and just slide that along with the mouse, and it gives me good control there. Now, yes, you can go ahead and grab these nodes and control it with the nodes, but I just find this so much easier to deal with. I can put that wherever I want for now. We'll worry about positioning later. So I'm just going to bring over my others. So we have accountable. All right, so we'll go ahead and scale accountable here so that she is more or less the same size. And yeah, 58, 53, whatever. Okay, let's see, RAS, and then we have support. So I'm going to bring over support. All right, and I'm going to scale support, bring him down a little bit. There you go. And this is what I'm just going to be doing here. So RAS, consult. Yeah, that's how I remember things. I just have to spell it out every time. Okay, consult. So I'm going to scale this guy. All right, he's the consult. And then we have inform. Bring inform all over. I'm going to scale her. And there's our inform. Now I can go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and kind of space these a little bit so they more or less take up the space there. Now, as I do this, I realize when I hold on, I want to put some text underneath each one, like responsible, accountable, so on and so forth, which means I need them to be a little smaller. I can go ahead and select all, just like I did there, right? You just drag and select all. And now I can select them all. I can scale them all, right? That's way too small. Probably go for something like this. And yes, oh, that also messed with that. I can go ahead and bring them all up. So now when they come up, you know what? She doesn't need to, no, we're going to make her a little larger. All right. Believe me, that was larger, but we'll go ahead and do that. Okay. All right. So these folks are now more or less set up. What I need to do now is add that text that I wanted to. So now I will be animating this eventually, but right now I just want to get all my pieces on the board, right? Once I get them all on the board, then I can start thinking about animation and so on. So I'm going to close these up. By the way, if anybody knows how to, like, because you can open up all these carrots and then it's like, and especially when you get like 100 layers, this gets to be a monstrosity to work with. If anybody knows how to click and close all the carrots, close them all at the same time with just one click, please let me know in the comments, because I've not yet been able to figure that out, but I'd really like to. I'd really like to be able to figure that out. Okay, so I'm going to come over here, grab my little text tool, and I'm going to type out responsible. I hope that's responsible. No, it's not correct. I'm really bad at spelling, so what I often do is I'll copy and paste this over into Word, just the words, to make sure that it's spelled properly. But I'll worry about that later on. I'm going to select all of that, and then here on the text, I can resize the text and so forth. I can go to transform. We can scale the text. Oh, that's position. Sorry. Scale responsible. Okay. So I've got that. And I know I want all of them to be more or less that size. Oop. Come back over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy and paste this a few times, and then I'll retitle them and move them. So copy, paste, 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 paste. All right. So we've got this responsible. We'll move that one over here. We have this responsible. Move that one there. This one, we'll move this one here. And then this one is moved right there. Now we have them all set. Okay, so now I need to change the text. So we have accountable. Okay. And then we come to the next one. Let's see, support. All right. And then we come to the next one, consult. And then our next one here is going to be inform. Okay. Now, in terms of making these all even and so forth, what I do is, well, okay, responsible here, we know that this one position-wise, well, the position here, we're going to do 9:30, right? So everything's at 9:30. So with each one of these, I'll pull up the position. Sorry about that blowout there on the microphone. And I'm just going to make each one of them 9:30. That way I know that they are all at the same height. Okay. And then in terms of centering to the person, I can just center by dragging over the horizontal. Okay, so now we see that, well, that's going to be a little tight. Can I bring you on over? Can I bring support on over a little bit? I know it's not perfectly centered, but not too bad, right? Not too bad. Okay, so now I can have these pop up and so forth. So what I sometimes do is I'll say, well, okay, yes, I could have all of the text together as I do, and then all of the graphics together. But since I'm going to have them kind of work in unison a little bit, or at least timed one after the other, I'm going to move my responsible under responsible, consult under consult, inform under inform, and support under support, accountable under accountable. Okay, so now when I animate things and so forth, I know I want the graphic to come up and then the word, then the graphic, then the word, and I can kind of make things, work. Told you this was going to be informal, right? So now everything's visible because I've not set any parameters in terms of um, when they appear or anything like that. So what I can do, just for my own sake, is I can drag these on out. Oh, hey, notice, okay, it's now in reverse order of Rasky. It's in form first because I typed them in order of Rasky. I think I would like them in order of the actual Rasky, right, from left to right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two and move them up. Take these two, move them down to the bottom, and then these two under there, and then support. No, support. Like that. Okay, so now we are in actual order. So now what I can do is I say, all right, I'm just going to drag these out here. So at the very least, they appear at a certain stage, just so I can kind of keep track of, all right, what's happening when. We just keep going. Just drag these on out. And of course, this one we leave alone because that's the background. So now if I hit play, of course, it go way too long. At the very least, they appear now, right? But now, how do I want them to appear? Well, I like pop up. I just like pop up. I could do drop down, and heck, maybe what I'll do, I don't know. I could do drop down with the figure and then pop up with the term, with the phrase and so forth, or just pop up all the way. So, for example, let's say that we focus here on this guy now. I want him to pop up, so I'm going to pull up his position, hit P there, right? And I can go ahead and mark his position there. That's where I want him to be. And then I can come out a little bit earlier in the timeline, and I can take him, hold down the shift key so he doesn't go sideways, and just drag him down. And now he'll have a, pop up in the animation. Obviously, I want it faster than that, but I can at least start with that. Hey, you know what? Another thing I like is I like to put a shadow on these figures, right? So let me show you what I mean. If we come over here to effects and we do drop shadow, right? Drop shadow right here, and then drag that. You can drag it to the character, but drag it here to the timeline. It then comes up here with our effects panel, and it shows me what I can do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the distance out a little bit. Oh, hey, here's texting me. I can bring the distance out a bit. Okay, so you see how that distance is going, right? I can change where the shadow is coming from, right? So maybe just a little bit like that, I guess is fine. And then I can go to softness, right? How soft that shadow is. So just because I know that I want to replicate it several times, I just like to give it a number that I know I can remember over and over and over. So 110, 50, 100, right? Now, I probably can copy and paste attributes. I probably can copy and paste attributes. Just out of curiosity, if I came here, is there a paste attributes? I don't know. This is something I can do in Premiere Pro. I don't know how to do it here. I ought to look that up, see if I can copy and paste attributes. But in any case, I can then take this drop shadow and I'm going to bring it over to all of these guys. And then I can set the shadow the way I just did there, right up here. I also tend to, you can do the drop shadow on the text as well. So I can drop shadow, bring that shadow to the text, and lo and behold, we can do the same thing. We can bring that out a little bit. We can increase the softness a little if we wanted to, 9 and 9. So let's just do 10 and 10. So it's easy. Now, by the way, had I done this on the text first and then copied and pasted it and then say and changed the word, I wouldn't have to do this drop shadow over and over and over. This is something I struggle with, is I start working on it and then I get an idea that, oh gee, I wish I had had that idea earlier. So it creates work for me. So that's something I work with. All right. So eventually we'll have these two things super, super close, right? To, so that the pop-up is a little more significant. And then I can either have that just appear or I can have it pop up. So right now we'll just have it appear. So he pops up and then responsible comes, and I can have every one of them come up and then the word. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe, and I think I would like it closer than that. Let's get in there. I'm holding down the Alt key and then scrolling with the mouse wheel to zoom in on it. But responsible. I kind of like the way that looks. So I will now do this over and over and over in all of my other figures and the word and so forth. And then that way I can have it feed up in the animation. Okay. So I'm going to continue working on this. You don't want to keep watching that. Hopefully you got something out of it. But later on, when I put it over in Premiere Pro, I'll show you how I do that. All right. So, hey, thanks for joining me, and we'll talk again soon.